Welcome, everyone. My name is Terry, and joining me today is Ingrid and Min. And we're going to be the team that hopefully answers most of your questions on the Lumio and IQ with Class Sessions. So that's what it's all about today. A couple of things to take note of. One, put stuff in the chat. By all means, we'll either chat you up in there, or somebody will stop me and I'll answer it live, or we'll make sure it gets in the FAQ at the end and we'll show you where that is so that you can continue to have some answers. I also saw we have some people that were in the session before, which is great. Similar file, but we're going to do a couple of little different things. So hopefully you'll pick up some other features as we go along. Keep watching the chat though, because at the end we'll be putting in some links, the links to the survey, the links to their certificate, but the links to the resource is probably the thing that we need most. And one other thing, if you see some great stuff, definitely hit the, and I'm laughing because I'm old school, hit the pound Go Lumio. As Ingrid will say, Terry, that's hashtag Go Lumio. And let us know what you see on social. So let's actually begin. All right. You will see, I'm going to have a small picture of me so you can kind of see where I'm clicking, but I wanted you to see the screen because I am on my smart board. I am on a 6000 with an AM60 in it, so IQ4, which if you don't know, 4.6 dropped last night and it has the Lumio app. So we're excited about that. And for those of you that are IQ3 users, the app will be coming out for your board sometime in September. So everything you're watching, you'll be able to do shortly. So just kind of give you a heads up of what we're doing. In this webinar today, we're really looking at Class Sessions and how it behaves on the board. So depending on how you launch the session is going to depend on how it behaves. So prior to this 4.6, all last year on the IQ4, I would have hit the files library. I would have gone to my Lumio on the left side, and I would have started my lesson here. And you can still do that. So I'm not taking that away from you. But I am going to show you right now what the Lumio app can do. So automatically with 4.6, in your apps drawer, you're going to find the Lumio icon. I'm going to use it all the time. So I'm going to do that long hold, and I'm going to drag it out so it's someplace prominent for me. Now, I have logged into the board. So I've logged into the board. So as I log in, all of the stuff that I do on my laptop is here. So I don't need my laptop. This is just the IQ board working by itself. So I'm going to hit that Lumio icon, and it's going to bring up my Lumio. This should look fairly similar to anybody who's logged into Lumio recently. If you haven't logged in since last school year, it might have some few changes. So let me kind of review before I start my lesson. So first of all, you have my library just like you had before. And the way I think about my library now, it's my templates, my stuff. Prior to Class Sessions, this was a mess because if I taught Algebra 1 3 times, I needed to make a copy 3 times. So I would have my master and then 3 more copies of it. And then the next day's lesson and 3 more copies of it. So I ended up with a lot of stuff here. With Class Sessions, I don't need that anymore. I keep my masters here. And then if I go to Class Sessions right now, this is all of my sessions running from those. So these will be with all the student data. So it kind of keeps them separate. I'm going to keep talking about this, and hopefully everything will start resonating with you as we come back to here. All right, a couple other things just to take note of. One, the Lumio library still has fabulous ideas for you, and they'll be posting new content very shortly. The back to school stuff is already there. I think there is a total, I was going to say total recall. I was going back on the movies. Total participation is going to be there next, so take a look at some activities there. If you are a Spark user, or if you're not a Spark user, you might want to be a Spark user, because this is shared libraries where your district can have content, but where Ingrid and I shine the best because we have shared libraries between the two of us, so we can co-edit. So as we're working on ideas, we're both editing in the file itself. So those are some things that are in shared libraries. All right, I'm going to go back to my library. All right, in my library, as we start looking at some of these activities here, and I want to run one, I'm going to hit the 3 dots next to it, and I'm going to see a pop-up menu. Now, on that pop-up menu, You have a whole lot of things. Right now, I just want to focus on, it doesn't say start, it says start new, meaning I'm going to start a new session. So my master stays good and it creates a copy in my session. I could also assign new, I could do all of these things, and we'll come back to hit some of these as we go. If you're on the board like I am, if you just tap the center of a file, it's going to start new. So if I click out of here and I just tap in the center, it's going to start a new session for me. First thing it's going to do is, what do you want to name the session? I can name it now, or I'm just going to leave it with the time and date right now and click OK. So when I go back looking for stuff, it's going to allow me to find it. So what I'm going to ask you all to do right now is join my class session. Ingrid's going to drop the link in the chat, or you can go to lumioclass.com and enter in my code 953982. You're joining as a guest. You can join as a regular person, but you can join as a guest. I see I've got 7 coming in. Great.
And if you forget to rename the class session after you make it, you can always, once you end the lesson, you can always go back in the class sessions tab and rename it to something else. So don't freak out if you forget to rename it in that initial stage when Terry did. You can always go back and change the name.
Yep. And I'll show you when we go back in class sessions. Don't worry, because I forget all the time, or I'm too quick sometimes and I don't pay attention. All right, I'm going to minimize this. Ingrid will put in the chat it one more time just in case you want to join, but that way you can see it. We'll also share this file out with you at the end, so if you want to use it with teachers, that's great. All right, here's the #1 win for me on the Lumio app. Remember, I'm in the app right now, not in the whiteboard. You can tell it looks like Lumio because my Lumio file's on the far left. I can just pick up a pen and write. It's not an overlay. It's not, I didn't have to hit the pen over on the left side first. I can just pick up a pen and write because it's native the way it works. So this was the old way, still valid reason. This is the new way. I'm going to love using the new way because it really does interest me kind of at what we're looking at. Remember, that's in 4.6 and it's coming in IQ3, right? The writing is one thing. We're going to show you a couple other features as we move along, just so you can see what they are. But let me forward a slide. All right. First, I want to know where you all are in this journey. So those of you that have logged in will be able to see the road, grab the blue car and tell me where you are in your IQ journey, meaning IQ, where I feel like I'm good on the board, and grab a Lumio car and tell me where you are in your Lumio journey. So I'm going to grab one car, might have pulled somebody else's, sorry, and I'm going to drag my other car, kind of see where we are. It's a great activity to do with kids. Starting a lesson on fractions, where do you feel like you are on fractions? You can put whatever icons, but the cars kind of matched our roadway. Great. I see I have a lot of people all over the road, which is great. All right, if I go too fast for the novices, that's okay. Ask some questions in the chat. And hopefully for these expert people up here, I'm going to drop some pro tips for you that will resonate with you and you'll be able to use some. All right, and all of this data right now, because I started a session, will be in my class sessions at the end. I'm going to go to the next slide. Couple of things to think about. What are sessions? So sessions really are that student data, where the student stuff is. So I think about it as I have my teacher role, and then I have all the stuff I need to do with my kids. So I think about the My Library as my teacher role, the class sessions are all the stuff the kids are doing. So Ingrid, what is your favorite part about sessions so far?
So I love class sessions, that I can have different sessions for each class and keep the student responses for each class separate. They're not all on one file. I have period 1 kids in one file, period 2 kids in another, and I can switch easily between them and I can review them whenever I need to. So that I love. That's a great feature.
I like that too. And next semester, I still have my clean master to start with again.
Exactly.
I don't have to clean it out again. I like that too. One of the things that I'm looking forward to most, Ingrid and I start with teachers next week. We've been with new teachers all week, so that's why we're a little jammed, because they're very excited, very good group. I'm excited to try the differentiated instruction with this new way that we'll be able to review what some of the async kids are doing in some of my differentiated instruction, and then I can still have a live lesson go. So I'll show you what that looks like today, and hopefully some of you guys will pick that up and say, ooh, I want to try that too. But there's a lot of different things just so that you're aware of that you can do with inside of here. All right, here's a handout. They're handouts for a reason because I wanted you all to be able to see them, use it at your own rate. I also want you to be able to see this that you see on the screen right now. So I see a lot of light grays, and light grays means you haven't started it yet. The dot, 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 dot means you've started it and you're working on it. And then the green check will mean you have hit done if you're done. But that was new. Min, was that like June time frame, maybe?
I think it's around that time, June, July.
Yeah. So it's one of those new features that I just want to point out that you'll be able to see from the board. I'm going to go to the teacher handout because you all have your own copy that you can see right now. So when we started a session today, I showed you the drop-down menu. You literally, all you need to do is tap on the 3 dots to see that drop-down menu from the board inside the Lumio app. Start new. That's what I did this time. Literally means it's going to start a new live session right then and there. Okay. Assign new is what most people think of when they think about asynchronous work. They can assign it and grab that link for later or whenever they need it. However, pro tip, it doesn't matter how I make either one of these. Both can be synchronous and both can be asynchronous. It's as easy as a tap of a button. And I'll show you that on the next page. All right. Next handout will give you a view of what the class sessions look like. So in class sessions, you can review work. So if I tap on the review icon for a session, it's going to show me all the students' work. Even if I'm live in one session, I can tap on review of a completely different class session and be able to see all the kids' work without interacting with either one. I can start live. So Ingrid and I were talking about this earlier. I think as an algebra teacher, I would have made my 3 sessions the day before. I said this in my last one. I'm a little OCD. I need to have everything ready. And then when I came in to teach the next day, I'd literally be clicking on the start live with the sessions that I already have because they're all set. They're all ready to go.
And it saves time, right? You're not.
It does save time for me because I have everything and I don't need to do it in front of the kids. It's just click, start. Don't need to rename because I renamed it earlier when I made it asynchronous. And the last one, assign. I can assign to any student. So it didn't matter how I started the session. I can bebop in between these 3 things. So I can go to review, I can do start live, or I can share the assignment. All right, pro tip on this one. Doesn't matter, I'm running a session already. If I open a new tab, I can do any of these things right here. All right, are we ready to go to the live piece, Ingrid?
Yes, we are ready. We have a couple people that are excited about the fact that you can run a live lesson and in different tabs, you can review other lessons. That is a huge game changer and great for those of you that love center activities. Great. You can put those asynchronous links in Google Classroom or your LMS, and then you can be checking in on the student work in different tabs for each group, which is really cool.
Now, what I'm about to show you, I would normally do on my laptop, but I wanted you to be able to see it. So I'm going to split my screen right now. And I'm going to split with the one we're working on, and I'm going to split with the Chrome browser. And I'm going to switch these sides just so I'm where I'm used to. All right. So the one on the left is the lesson that you all are in right now. The one on the right over here that looks like a browser window is going to represent my laptop. So this is what I'd be doing from my laptop. Okay. Left is lesson, right is over here. So I'm going to come over to my class sessions on where I would come on my laptop, and you'll see all these icons right here. And I don't have the buttons because I've split screen, so they're off the screen. So I'm just going to tap on the 3 dots, and there's my review. So you guys are in this top session right here. I'm going into the practice session that I did earlier. So when I hit review on that one, I want you to take note of a couple things. One, the class or the management tab, where the people's heads are. On my live lesson, it's green. On the one I'm in review, it's yellow. And I like how Ingrid called it earlier. Green means go. That's my live one. Yellow is my review. I'm in that caution mode. But you'll notice on this file right here that I can swap. Oh, this game is coming, but I'm going to show you their data right now. This is the data from that other session. So if I have kids in the corner doing something else, I can take a look at their progress and see what they're doing right from here without having to do anything. And I could obviously open up another tab, take a review of another lesson. So I don't have to stick within just one, or I can have multiples in review at the same time. So I can have one live and have as many asynchronous as I want and go in and look at them, and it doesn't interact. Because you saw as I went to this page or I go to another page, it's not interacting with the one that you guys are in, the live one.
And I think, Terry, something important to remember that's different from before with the review. We used to, if we wanted to review the data, we would basically have to start the lesson, right? So you would launch the lesson previously. So if you had any lingering students, they would be able to go into the lesson. So now the review, like, it's kind of set aside, it's pulled back. You don't have to start the lesson to be able to review it. You can just review the data and no one will know you're in that lesson. So that's great. You don't have to start the lesson and be able to have kids pop in it if you're in it. It's like its own set aside view.
What I also like, besides looking at the management tab where you see the colors, you also see this review down at the bottom. So at any time, I can start this one live, and all of you that are logged in will go into this lesson. I'm not going to do that today, but Ingrid had a good case. I started a live lesson today, and then I realized I didn't finish yesterday's lesson. So I just opened up yesterday's lesson, and I just hit the start live, and it would start live. So if I go back here, I'm going to go back to my session. One of the other choices you have here is start live. So if I clicked on this start live also, it would bring you all into this particular one. So you have some different things inside of here. You'll also have 2 things coming next week. I'm going to steal your thunder, man. Coming next week, there'll be edit here. So you'll be able to edit these sessions. You will also have edit in delivery mode, where you'll be able to edit also. Did I miss anything there, man? I hate to steal your thunder.
That's perfect. Yeah. So edit will allow you to, let's say you're delivering live and you wanted to add a new activity in on the fly, you'll be able to go into edit mode and add that. Or if you wanted to make any kind of like customizations for a group of students you're teaching to, you can make edits to particular session using edit mode as well.
And one question in the chat for Terry and Min is, can you have multiple live sessions running at one time, or is it just one live session and then you can review the asynchronous links as many as you would like?
Yeah, that's a great question. So yes, correct. You can only have one live session that students who are connected are looking at the same time. So this is just for practicality, because, you know, obviously if you have multiple sessions, it kind of, right now we only have one class ID, so it would be confusing as to which one the students will be looking at. But you can have as many asynchronous sessions that you're shared out. And now with the ability to review, you can have those async sessions in review mode on your side and monitor the student progress. So if you're doing centers, you can have as many async centers running at the same time, and also be able to monitor them using the review mode.
And as I rotate Min to my centers and I hit live with the group I'm in, they would all have to be on the page I'm on in their file. And then the other groups would move to asynchronous, so they'd be able to continue on, correct?
That's right, yeah. So with the being able to open up different sessions in review on different devices or tabs, it gives you a very quick way to switch between them. So you just basically go to a tab that is in review mode and start that live to pull your students directly to that particular session.
Awesome. One final thing I want to show you all while I'm on the screen. Remember the right side, I'm pretending this is my laptop. You will notice at the top, there's now this green thing that says, a session is running in Lumio, open the session. So if I'm on my laptop, I can click on that and I would be in the exact same session here. So I can control the Lumio app from my laptop in the back of the room, or I can come up and tap it from the front of my room. Those of you that have tried that in the past, it's a little different with sessions, which is why they added this right here so you'd know which one is the open session to be able to click and control. All right, I'm going to move back over to my lesson a little bit more. So I'm back in my Lumio app. Let's go to the next page. One more handout for the Lumio app. All right, we talked about the 3 dots already. You know that opens the menu. Share file. If I want to share this lesson with another teacher, I have to do it from the My Library. If I want to share a lesson or a session, I should say, a session with my students, I need to do that from here. So I think of My Library, all teacher stuff, Class Sessions, all kids stuff. So the sharing link to share another teacher is in the My Class under Share File. The other thing you should know is, remember I talked when we first started that if you went to the Files library and opened up a Lumio file in a Whiteboard file, all the data will show up under Legacy. So if I really truly wanted to look at data, I would need to look at Legacy. So I'm going to hold that thought for a minute. Oops, I clicked the window. Hold on. Let me go back to the browser. So here's the browser window. I'm at My Library. Here is the different files that I've had. All right. I'm going to go back to the 3 dots over here on Final because I did some of this on the whiteboard with people. Here's my Legacy review. You'll take note that it's going to tell me it's in Legacy review so that I know it's in Legacy review. But when I come back down here to try to find my data on the game, oops, there will be my data from that class. And I'd be able to see who completed it, what they did, all those other things, and I'd be able to see the student progress for this class. So if you open a lesson in the whiteboard, or if you are looking for data from a Lumio file before June 26th, you're going to find the 3 dots in Lumio. You're going to find that Legacy review, and it'll take you in and show you all that data. All right, let me swap on back to the Lumio file and head back because I went too far. All right, this should be where you all are. There are 2 pro tips on this one, and I love them both. The first one is, if you all know, if I opened this file in the whiteboard, sound will not play. But now,
did you know, with the Lumio app on the smartboard, you can pick up a pen and you write directly on the Lumio screen.
So the first tip I gave you that the Lumio app lets me do is I can write right on the screen. And I never had good handwriting, so just go with that. Second thing you can do inside the Lumio app on the board is you can add sound to an object and it will play. You can add sound to text also. Third thing before I get off of here. Whew. Immersive Reader. I can use Immersive Reader in the Lumio app. So if you guys have not used Immersive Reader, it is one of the better tools that I have ever used with kids, because I have a lot of kids, even when they get to the high school, that can't read. So now I'm just going to tap on it and it's going to be able to read it for them.
Did you know you can use the Lumio app on the board, pick up a pen and write directly on the smartboards?
There's a lot of other things that we'll do. I'll show you one more. Is I can come over here and I can change to a different language. And today we are just going to pick Danish, and I'm going to do the whole document. So there it is in Danish. There, it will read it for me.
At du kan bruge Lumio-appen på tavlen. Tag en
I can also look back at the original feature. So anything that is typed text, you either typed it or you brought it in as editable, will be able to use the immersive reader features. There will be other sessions on that, but I just wanted to show you that immersive reader works inside of the Lumio app. So that was another big win because it didn't work in the whiteboard. And that was what some of my teachers were asking me for. The last pro tip on this one, though, is the request a feature. So let me pull that out. I can also now add links to a file or a image, and it's going to take me right to the updates. What's new in Lumio? This is a good spot to go if you want to know what they've added. So for instance, it's talking right now about the beta channel. It added dice and widgets, and I think that was just this week. I don't know, but I was excited. We were playing with them yesterday. But you can turn any of these on, see what came, see what you missed. Or I heard somebody say they wanted multiple live class sessions. Do the request a feature, but leave the comment of the why behind it so that they understand why we're looking for it. So it kind of gives them some great things. So those are some places that you can go for other things. But adding a link was also one of them that you could add. So when I'm in any page, I am in beta mode. I can come over here to the gallery, find I must not be in beta mode. Oh, I didn't switch this one. You'll find something that looks like a toolbox right there, and that will give you the dice, the spinner, those types of things. All right. Let's see what you learned from me. I want to see what we've learned. So all of you now have a super sort. So sort it. Tell me what is in the My Library tab versus what is found in the Class Sessions tab. I'll give you a minute.
As they're doing that, we have a good question in the chat, and this might be for you, Min. On the Lumio app for writing on it, how Terry's saying that you can pick up the pen and you can write in the side, is that for all boards or only those with the Smartboard IQ?
Yeah, so I'll break it down a little bit. So right now, the Lumio app has only been released for IQ4. And as Terry mentioned before, it will be coming to IQ3 users in September. So those are the only IQ versions that are supported. So if there are other IQ versions, then the Lumio app will not be available on there. But if you have another smartboard, if you use your smartboard with an attached computer, like a Windows machine or a Mac machine, and you're using Lumio in a web browser, we do have inking support for the inking tools as well. So if you use the Chrome browser and you have the smart drivers installed, when you connect your PC to the board, you'll be able to pick up your pen and write inside of Lumio as well.
And that works even on the very old projector smart boards.
Correct.
Yeah, the Smart Ink is an awesome product. So now that you've all done this, all right, let's say our class ended. I'm just going to come back up here and I am going to end the session. Now, I find the session I just did, which is the one I started at 5:06 right here. I did not name it. As Ingrid said, I was probably a poor choice. So I can always come into the dots and hit rename. And I can rename this now. I'm going to name it live because that's the one I did. It will rename it live for me if I need to. Okay. And from inside of here now, I can also review that. So if another class comes in, I start another one live. I can also just come into this one and say, okay, this is the live one. Let me review their data. And I can see how they did. Some of the other features that were added, notice I am in review mode because you see the management tab has yellow. And I also have that review down the bottom. So let me look at the dashboard here. So here's all the data that you all did. Well, I can see we had half about start and try, and then I'd be able to take a look to see how I did with those. So incorrect, it gets a little bit tough, but they're good to icons to start thinking about. If I want to start new, that's always what a teacher would do. But if I have some of these other sessions, I would have done it while I'm with my kids. So it's a good way to review data. Also take note that we added sometime at the end or towards the end of last year that you can export all these results. So you can take that data to go if you want to and be able to do some other things with it. All right, we've done legacy review. We did the game. Ingrid, did I miss anything before I wrap it up?
No, you are good to go to check back on our data.
Awesome. All right, so at any point in time, again, I might be doing this from my laptop, not necessarily the board, but when I'm in the Lumio app, I have access to all of these things, including the My Library, where I would start something, versus Class Sessions to be able to look at data. Two things to think about. One, here are all my option menus from the 3 dots to be able to start something. This is where I was OCD. I said I would start 3 new ones the day before. I would rename them, and I'd have them ready to go. So when I'm teaching class tomorrow, I'm just going in here, hitting start live for period 1, start live for period 2, start live for period 3. Finally, if you do it in the whiteboard, nothing wrong with the whiteboard. There's still some great things in the whiteboard, but you need to go back to either the Lumio app or Lumio in the browser. It doesn't have to be on the board. It can be on your laptop. And in order to find that data, you're going to have to make sure you click on Legacy Review, because that's where it's going to be. So either Lumio app on the board, though if I'm looking at data, it's more than likely going to be Lumio on my browser in my computer. All right, so starting now, if you have IQ4, 4.6 started last night, you will have that Lumio app. If you have IQ3, you will be able to get it in September, but you can still use the other methods if you need to. These are just sheerly options for you. All right, and Ingrid, we're gonna wrap it up with the files we need to put in. All right, so first, Ingrid's gonna put in the chat. Oops, I started a new session. All righty, didn't mean that one. All right, she's gonna put in the chat, or if you are still on my group, because it's a live lesson,
I just put the Wakelet in the chat. There is a Wakelet that if you click, it has tons of Lumio resources in there. The past class sessions recording that Terry did with Min when it first released, and we have some other PDFs and other information that you can look at.
and one of the PDFs in there is FAQ. I would highly recommend reading it. I would also highly recommend waiting a couple of days till we take all the questions we just got from today's 2 sessions and add them on them before you think it's the final copy, because we want to keep adding what people's thoughts are as they keep using them. We'll also probably put both of these webinars on that Wakelet so that it's all in one spot, so it gives you some ideas of places to look or something to share. All right, the next one she's going to put in the chat is all the Lumio resources. We all have our favorite piece of this whole thing. I love the webinars like this one. Even if you can't join, sign up for them, because you can get that recording right in your inbox. But if you go down below the ones that are now, you'll see some recorded ones. So things you're interested in may pop up. If you're into FET, if you're into Desmos, if you're into total participation, there might be different ones down there that you can see or sign up for new ones as we come. But you have the YouTube channel, Learn Lumio, the global community, or the academy. All are great places to learn. Finally, I think the last resource, maybe it's not going today, it's kind of a day I'm going to have, is the ambassador one. We would love, I saw a couple ambassadors in the chat. We would love for you to join our community. You do not have to be an expert. It's just for people that love it and want to learn it and want to have a place to talk about it. If you'd like to be an ambassador, please apply today. We'd love to have you. Finally, Ingrid's going to stick in the chat a survey that will have the survey and then the certificate of attendance for today. I've just been rattling on quite a bit. Ingrid, did I miss anything else in the chat? Anything else we can say?
They are all in the chat. So everybody make sure that you click onto those links and maybe bookmark them before you leave. We close the webinar. That way you have them. And I saw Monica and Janet, we were talking about the Lumio app maybe not showing up on their board yet. So the IQ4 boards got the 4.6 update last night. It may take a day or two. Min, and Terry, you can jump in on this. It may take a day or two for it to roll out, depending upon the size of your district, to your specific board. So if you don't see it in the 3-dot menu right now, you want to make sure to go down where Terry is in the settings, and then the system, and you can check to make sure that the update was pushed to your board. And if it was, and if it says you're running 4.6, you should be able to see it in those 9 dots in the apps drawer, and then you can pull it out onto your home screen. But if
And
you're
you'll always know if you go to the About and go down to Board Build, what build you're at. So this one is showing me at 4.6. Couple of things to take note of. When I was back here, most boards by default are checking between 12 a.m. and 6 a.m. So if your board is off, like you've turned it off, it's not going to get that update. But if you go in during the day, because you don't have a class right now, you can certainly run that update. It will be there to run for you if you're running IQ4.
Fabulous. And it looks like that is all the questions we have in the chat. Just remember, if you don't see your Lumio app yet, check to make sure you're running 4.6. If it's still showing 4.5, it won't show up yet. Wait a day or two, check to make sure that the update is pushed. And then once it says 4.6, you'll be able to find it in that app store and you can drag it out.
I'm going to let Ingrid wrap it up, but thank you all very much for coming. We appreciate you.
And make sure you click everything in the chat for all those resources. We have our survey link. We have the link to join our ambassador community. We would love for you to join our Facebook group as well. Share all the lovely lessons that you have created and all the fun ways that you are using the new features, how you're using Class Sessions now that we've learned a little bit more about it. And again, I have that Wakelet link in there that Terry has the FAQ she added in there, and her old Class Sessions video that she did with Min on June 26th. And thank you everyone for joining us. Those of you who came to both sessions, thank you so much. You are the real champs here. Thank you so much. And hopefully you were able to take something from one or both of these sessions and use it in your class this coming year. Oh, Terry, can you show where to go for the updates one more time?
Sure. I hit the settings. If your settings are not on the front screen, you can go into the 9 dots. You will have settings in there also. Scroll all the way down on the left-hand side. It's the next to bottom one. It's System. And then just hit Update.
All right. Thank you, everyone. Have a great rest of your night. Take care.